This video is made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details. Well, my friends, here we are again. Another day, another Zelda trailer that refuses to do much beyond give us the vaguest of clues. But I can't really complain, as this is my favorite kind of vague clue. Hieroglyphs, symbols, and writing that I don't have a cipher for. Oh yeah, this is the good stuff. In fact, there is quite a bit here. Even the new logo gives us some significant lore revelations, so let's not waste any time. My name's John Raridan, you're watching NWR TV. Let's dig into the latest trailer for what is now officially called The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, and see what we can learn. Now, before we get too nitty-gritty, arguably the most crucial detail that this trailer gives us comes right at the end, and that's legitimately the logo. Behind the text, we see two green dragons, and while dragons are not at all uncommon in Zelda, these ones are very specific dragons, and their layout may also be significant. The dragons in the logo are portrayed as eating each other's tails. This is a play on a symbol Xenoblade fans should be familiar with, called an Ouroboros. We'll come back to the actual meaning of this symbol later, but just hold it in your head for now. The dragons themselves match up precisely with a depiction we've already seen in Zelda, more specifically, in Breath of the Wild. In the Zonai ruins located in Faron Woods at the south end of Hyrule, you can commonly find dragon statues. In fact, dragons and birds are the two most common motifs seen throughout these ruins, though a boar can also be found. For now, we're just gonna worry about the dragon. And if we compare this dragon to the dragon seen in the Ouroboros, you'll notice that the design is identical. Now, the Zonai themselves are a complete mystery to the Zelda fandom. I myself theorized that they may be the banished Gerudo tribe of Ocarina of Time, based on their written language and the deities to which they erect statues. Still others tie them to the interlopers of Twilight Princess. One thing is for certain, however, the Ouroboros dragons are without a shadow of a doubt Zonai dragons. This confirms one of the earliest theories around Tears of the Kingdom's initial reveal, which was a tie to the Zonai based on the ruins Link and Zelda appeared to be exploring. While this may not initially seem like a huge reveal, given how long it's been theorized, this trailer does allow us to tie a few things together, thanks to this confirmation. Alright, time to rewind back to the beginning of the trailer. We open on a series of hieroglyphs. We see a powerful-looking figure with what appears to be ears or perhaps wings on its head. Its markings could indicate a beak, or maybe it's a helmet of some sort. Regardless, some of the bird-like elements of this figure are impossible to ignore, and they factor into the next panel as well. A group of traditional Breath of the Wild enemies appear to be engaged in battle with bird-like warriors. These bird warriors are facing in the same direction as the moblins and bokoblins, and a few of the bird warriors can be seen laying amongst the enemies as they move forward. The implication here seems to be that the bird warriors are in retreat. Next we get what appears to be a wider shot of the very first image. We can see this figure appears to be standing at an altar, and is surrounded by 7 swirling symbols. Like the dragon head from earlier, this symbol also has ties to the Zonai, as a similar symbol can be seen throughout their ruined architecture. Off to the lower left, we can also see writing that matches the writing seen in the E3 2021 trailer for Tears of the Kingdom. Next, we see what appears to be a Hylian figure, suspended and in a limp position. The next figure appears to be the same Hylian, wearing the exact same outfit as the one we just saw. It's obviously an outfit not unlike Zelda's outfit from Breath of the Wild, with distinctive paneling along the ribs. Finally, as we move on to some brief gameplay clips, we see the Zonai dragon motif once again, but this time, rather than an Ouroboros, the two dragon faces meet. Rather than two dragons consuming each other in a symbol of infinity and rebirth, this dragon is two-headed and resembles the Chinese rainbow dragon, which was seen as an omen of disaster, or dare I say it, calamity. Both the Ouroboros and the rainbow dragon share thematic consistencies with The Legend of Zelda, and the juxtaposition of the two likely holds meaning. For example, we see the rainbow dragon symbol on the door to the outside world, which could be a warning. It's inscribed in the same text we saw in the hieroglyphs earlier, which, while we can't confidently read, may give us more context into the meaning of this symbol. The presence of this script on what we know to be a Zonai dragon is actually very important for another reason as well, as it's the first concrete tie we've had between this written language and the Zonai. Given that this same language can be seen on the bird hieroglyphics, I think it's safe to say that they are also of Zonai origin. Now, of course, the question is, are the bird people portrayed in these hieroglyphs the Zonai themselves, or is this a story that the Zonai are telling? Ancient bird races are a common theme throughout Zelda, so while it isn't impossible that the bird creatures could be a race we already know, such as the Riddo, to which they do admittedly bear a resemblance, we do already have other regular occurrences of bird imagery within Zonai culture, which could allude to these being the Zonai themselves. Like I said earlier, outside of the dragons, the two other creatures we see represented by the Zonai are boars and birds. In fact, the Zonai birds were among the first things we ever saw back when Breath of the Wild was first revealed. It is possible that the Zonai literally are these bird-like creatures. But then the question remains, where did they go? Well, I actually think the trailer answered that for us as well. It's clear from the hieroglyphs that the Zonai were attacked by monsters and appeared to be losing that battle. But the other sections show a ritual that should appear quite familiar to longtime fans. This Zonai is surrounded by 7 symbols while standing at an altar. We also see what appears to be a Hylian woman floating limp in the air. The way I see it, there are 2 ways to interpret this scene. If we assume the 7 symbols represent the 7 sages needed to seal the Prince of Darkness Ganon, then it's possible that the Zonai were attempting to seal away Ganon in a previous cycle. However, the position of a single figure surrounded by 7, possibly referenced by the floating Hylian woman as well, is also extremely similar to the ritual we see to resurrect Ganon in The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. The floating woman also calls to mind a similar scene in The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword, once again to resurrect evil. As mentioned earlier, statues of a boar can be found within the Zonai ruins. Within Hylian mythology, the boar is often a reference to Ganon's beastly form, and likewise a symbol of power. If the Zonai were building statues in honor of Ganon, it is possible that they sought to revive him. Were they ultimately wiped out by their own god? Are the doors marked with a warning of calamity as Zonai attempt to seal themselves off from their own mistakes? Could the kingdom alluded to in the freshly minted title refer not to Hyrule, as one might initially expect, but to the lost kingdom of the Zonai? Could tears reference their regret? And if the Zonai kingdom has been reborn, as may be referenced by the Ouroboros dragons, what fresh calamity will they bring with them? But that's all I've got for now. Thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, maybe leaving a like if you enjoy it, leaving a comment with your own theories. You can also hit me up on Twitter if you have any ideas of your own, or just to say hello. You can chat with us about this or anything else Nintendo related using our Discord. There's a link in the description. You'll find a whole lot more at nintendoworldreport.com, and you can stick around for some information on our Patreon. My name's John Reardon, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. This video was made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Did you know that Nintendo World Report is funded directly by fans like you? When you support Nintendo World Report on Patreon, you get immediate access to multiple exclusive podcasts every month, exclusive Discord channels, an early look at select content, and more, all for as little as $1 a month. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.